Adam Audio just sent me H200. Actually, they expanded their research and development department in Berlin, and this is their first headphones created from scratch. But this is not the first headphones from Adam Audio I was testing. Remember SP5 model? Actually, it was not Adam Audio really, it was just marketed as Adam Audio. These were ultrasound headphones with this S-Logic technology, which was supposed to bring the listening experience closer to what we hear from the loudspeakers. And it kind of worked to some extent. I was not entirely bought, but the concept, also I found those headphones a bit sharp, accentuating high mid-range. So not entirely bad headphones, but I kind of felt they were overpriced. So when they sent me these, much cheaper, well, I was kind of skeptical. So let's unpack this. Alright, so we have raw, almost industrial design, and I guess it's supposed to suggest professional applications, but headphones have low resistance of 32 ohms, and it actually allows to connect them not only to professional audio interface, but also to hi-fi tower monitors, a computer, or even a telephone, and they should play loud and clear. First impressions, very good. They're very light, surprisingly light. I guess somewhere in the range of 250 grams. Mostly plastic, but they feel very sturdy and are quiet when you move them. You know, this earband is made of anodized aluminum, but the rest is plastic. And actually pads are made from the foam, which has memory. So when you put them on your head, they actually fit quite well, not too tight. And also I noticed immediately that the installation is pretty good, so I can't really hear anything from outside. So it's pretty outstanding. The adjustment range, I guess, is pretty large, so you can adjust it to, I guess, every head. And interestingly, the cable can be connected to the left and to the right ear cup, and importantly, it is difficult to disconnect it by accident. You need to be decisive, but it also, prevents possible damage. And look, here I am at the back of my control room, on the sofa, on the armchair, because they gave 3-meter long cable. Nice touch. And by the way, this video is sponsored. Adam Audio also sent me D3V, their desktop monitors. They're super tiny, but they go surprisingly low, playing from 45 Hz with 6 dB roll-off. In the promotional video, you'll see that the damping is actually quite solid here. The installation is amazing, I would say. So inside those earpads, there are 40mm drivers that provide frequency conversion, from 2 Hz to 23.5 kHz and as much as 112 decibels of SPL. This is very loud. So these headphones can actually, play very clean, very loud, even when they are pumping lots of bass into your eardrums. And what's more, there's also, like in many modern closed-back headphones, we have kind of bass reflex resembling technology. The H200 is equipped with so-called internal airflow technology. So the transducer, closed in this chamber works to a greater extent, blowing some air through those holes covered here. So good acoustic tuning of the entire system allows for deeper bass. And of course, for the frequency response, of course, the extremes of the range are irrelevant. There are many headphones that supposedly play from 5 Hz, but have relatively weak bass. These play really strong in bass, and what matters is the characteristics, and I will tell about it in a minute. So, how do they sound? Actually, pretty good. I guess these headphones are really well tailored for the modern music production. I would feel safe mixing drum and bass, techno or house music, but also, of course, hip-hop and trap. Compared to many other headphones, we can look up SonarWorks Sound ID applications. There are some measurements of different headphone models. You'll see that that usually the bass is roll off at around 50 Hz or 40 Hz. These actually go pretty low with no noticeable energy loss to 30-35 Hz, and even lower, of course. And yeah, so perfect for, you know, deep bass. It's quite fast. Trap, hip-hop music, they fulfill the requirements pretty well, and surprisingly they are very well balanced. The mid-range is nice, it's not overly warm, there is no scoop whatsoever, and they're just enough detailed to my ear. They're bright, but not too bright, and you'll never say that they are just, you know, too little bright, okay? So I guess almost perfect. There is kind of maybe some mid-range present boosts, but only for some, you know, clarity, and they actually sound very pleasant to the ear with many different recordings. So very good value for money, I would say. Yeah. When you register the headphones, you're actually getting also a special kind of plugin created in cooperation with Sonox, and this one allows you to shape the sound of the headphones as if they were playing like Adam S3V monitor model in an adapted room. So this is the case actually with the voicing pure setting, and it was probably compared to some extent in the measurements, but for me, those two domains remain separate, and I am glad that unlike not very successful SP5 model, the H200 does not try to imitate monitor listening. They only try to transfer a certain signature just a little bit, and even though I can't say how successful they were, the headphones sounds very nice when the plugin is on, just a tiny bit better. So the question is, I guess, is it useful? So I can only say that using the proper earpad material setting and pure voicing, it actually sounded just a little bit smoother and maybe slightly brighter. But I thought it was a minor difference. I guess when you listen to two different tracks with different settings, you wouldn't be able to tell which one is which. However, when you switch on and off the plugin, you definitely will hear a slight difference, and it sounds just a little bit better with the plugin on. So let's have a look at the computer screen now. The plugin doctor reveals how it works. Now the plugin is bypassed and you'll see just a flat line, no correction. And when I switch it on, you'll see slight equalization. So there is a very slight dip around 50 Hz, and there are some mild corrections and high frequency boosted by maximum 2 decibels actually. So very slight. And I also noticed that when you change the setting of the earpads, you choose soft cloth, then there's just too much bass with factory earpads, so I will just not use it unless I really get the soft cloth pads, etc. So I'll just stick to this one. And also we can change the voicing to uniform natural response, which allows you to obtain a slightly rounded characteristic, and the sound is even more closer and there is more bass obviously, and this sounds really good. But for me, for listening for pleasure and for listening while working, the pure mode is actually optimal. And if there was no plugin, I would not cry, because headphones sound really good without any corrections. So this is just, you know, very slight touch, I would say, but a nice touch. And one last thing, there's a big button just in the middle. I almost forgot. There is externalization. It actually is a simulation of monitor environment on headphones. Basically, the sound stage is getting narrower a bit. You're getting some signal from the left channel in your right ear, and vice versa. So basically it's tuned for this particular model. It works pretty well. I guess it can be useful. I usually prefer using either monitors or headphones, but there it is. It's actually there, so you can use it. It's not an emulation of any particular space. There is no reverb. It just should make you feel as if you were more in front of the monitors and not headphones where the separation is from left to right is full. there's less kind of this separation, I would say, yeah. Okay, so how good are these? And how they stack up against the competition? Actually, the closest competitor, I would say, is DT770 from Beyerdynamic, very popular model. I was never a big fan of the 770s, just because Beyerdynamic has much better models in the higher price ranges, but these are decent, and comparing them with Adam Audio, I would definitely go with Adam Audio, and there are three reasons for that. So first, I got my notes here. Unlike the competitor, if you're talking about 80 ohm version or 250 ohm version of DT770s, these can be connected to almost anything, including your phone, so low impedance. Second reason, H200s offer more powerful and better balanced bass. The bass is just stronger, it's a bit deeper, and I was able to judge my kicks and their envelopes, I guess, with more precision. So these are very, very good. In this price range, the overall balance is also very good. I think DT770s are a bit brighter, and this might translate sometimes into a bit more detail maybe. I don't have them here, but I tested them and I have them in other studios I used to work in. So, but sometimes DT770s are just a bit sharp. Hi-hats sometimes tend to be sharp. With this, you'll never get harshness. I couldn't get any harshness. And the third reason is these have better isolation. So even though I thought DT770s are great for rap recordings, and also Slate VSX I have here, also very effective, very good isolation. I can even walk around in a park or on the streets with them. These isolate even more. So there will be simply no crosstalk if you record a rap or vocal on the microphone. Of course, Beyerdynamic has newer, more fancier models like X series, X700, 900. You can see my video on other headphones, a comparison. Just go and see it on my channel. But they're just more expensive, you know. So, and even though I still prefer Slate because they have just more elegant and bit warmer and more natural mid-range. For the overall balance, bass, mid-range, and highs, these seem to present the whole spectrum with less coloration, I would say. So this is a great achievement, especially for this price range. So, of course, VSX also comes, it's much more expensive, and they come with better and more advanced speaker emulation and studio environment emulation. So actually comparing these two is like comparing apples and oranges. So let's just keep it simple. Yeah, a very serious competitor of DT770s. I think you should try them both. There is a big chance you'll like this or the other more. I am putting my money on this. So to summarize, you don't have to be a music producer to buy these headphones. They're very well balanced, enjoyable, dynamic headphones with lots of information in the low end, and yet sounding very natural overall with nice highs and no sharpness whatsoever. So I guess but if you are a music producer, these are just very well tailored for our needs, especially if we produce electronic music with lots of bass, pulse and rhythm, where low end is important because they will get you there. They will give you just enough information so you can do your job right. Plus they are light, low impedance, good isolation and great price. So that's it. It's just hard to not recommend them, okay? So I guess within this budget, you should definitely check them out. This is my recommendation. You won't regret that. Cheers.